How's it going, YouTube? It's Elliot here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Elliot Reads video, guys. I'm going to be going through my December wrap up and giving more information on the books that I read, my ratings and reviews on them. And yeah, let's get into it. I read 7 books in December, so yeah, let's get into the video and let's see what I read and what I thought about them. Okay guys, the first book I read was Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. This is about Stella, who is a convict who has recently been in prison but has been released, and she's walking down Manhattan and she's looking at all the window displays for Christmas, and she comes across one in a window of a shop called Vivant, and she's checking out the display and she's like, it's hideous, it doesn't look good, and yeah, I wouldn't do it this way if I dress in this window. As she's standing looking at the window and critiquing it in her head, a guy shows up and stands beside her and asks her opinion on the window. So obviously she tells him the truth, that it's hideous and she doesn't like it and it's screaming consumerism, and she would make it more about like the joy of Christmas rather than the consumerism of it and like buying expensive gifts. And it turns out the guy is actually called Aiden and he is the owner of the store. And before Stella walks away, he tells her that she should apply to the window dressing application that they've got going for Vivant for the Christmas season. But obviously she's in two minds because she's a convict and she's sure that somewhere like this, like a high quality clothing store, isn't going to hire her because of her background. She does it anyways and not expecting to hear anything. And then when Aiden is going to round up all of the applications to start interviews, he asks his assistant where he can find the applications so he can have a little look through and see who is on the agenda to be interviewed. And the assistant goes, well, yeah, I've put them on your desk front. And then there's a separate folder with the rejects that I don't think have potential to be interviewed and things. So Aiden has a look at the potential people and then he looks in the folder who his assistant believes aren't potential, and he finds Stella in there, and he also finds out that she's a convict, but he believes that everyone deserves a second chance, so of course he adds Stella into the mix of being interviewed because, like I said, he just thinks she deserves a second chance and she shouldn't be not given these opportunities just because she's been in prison. She comes to the interview, obviously it goes well, and she gets hired on a trial basis to do the dressing of the shop for Christmas. As her and Aiden start to work together, they start to get feelings for each other, but obviously it's against store policy that employees can't get in a relationship unless they sign a waiver that goes to human resources and is approved by them, that a relationship is going on between members of staff. But Aiden wants to do that so they can be together and it's not going against company policy. But Stella's in two minds about it. She doesn't feel like she could handle that responsibility and that much pressure of a relationship in the workplace and needing to have like contract go to human resources before it can happen and things. So Aiden tries to slowly break down her walls, make her come around to the idea of signing this contract, and she does in the end, and they obviously get together and she gets a permanent job here at Vivant dressing the windows for different occasions, and so her life's back on track. She tries to cut out all of the bad things that happened in her past and try and move forward and change for the better. So yeah, that is pretty much what this is about. I really enjoyed it. The characters are really cool. Really liked Aiden and I really liked Stella. She was just like a hard-headed, stubborn woman who just wouldn't get handed things because she knew that she needed to work for them and she didn't want everything handed on a plate just because she has been in prison and things, and that was really good. That was a really good like life lesson to learn. Like, don't just expect things to be handed to you on the plate just because something tragic's happened, and you know. But I gave this one 4 stars, I believe I did. Yeah, 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really wholesome story and it was nice to see Stella's progression into getting back into normal life after being in prison and getting a nice relationship going with Aiden and just getting a dream job to dress windows for a living, and it was just really nice. yeah, I gave that one 4 stars, and that was my first read of December. Okay guys, my second read of December was Let It Snow by Beth Moran. This is about Bea, who is a weather girl, and she feels like she's been taken for granted in her current workplace. Her boss doesn't even know her name. He keeps calling her the wrong name, and she feels that someone in the company is trying to sabotage her because her emails keep going missing for important meetings and get-togethers. So because she doesn't feel like she's being treated well in this place, she kind of wants to move on to a bigger and better place. And there's a rival weather station that is taking on people. So she applies for it, not expecting to hear anything. And she is meant to be spending Christmas with her family this year because she never gets Christmas off to spend it with her family. So she's going there to spend it with her family at Chara's house, which is run by her parents and is a school for kids with behavioural problems. Public schools can't handle them, so they send them to Chara's house, where her parents look after them and give them skills for everyday life and to be able to live independently in the real world. So she returns home, and when she returns home for Christmas with her family, she finds out that her mum and dad have invited an old family friend to spend Christmas with them. And growing up, this family friend called Henry and his mum and dad and Bea's mum and dad always said that in the future them two would get together, get married, have kids and have the whole shebang and settle down together. But obviously them two just rolled eyes, like, parents trying to set up, Henry is staying for Christmas with them because his family are away. So leading up to Christmas, Bea actually gets a call a few days before Christmas to say that she has been successful in the process of the applications and she is invited for an interview for that other weather station. The only problem is it's in Scotland, it's a few days before Christmas. She has to stay there for a few days because it's a long interview, so it's over a couple of days. It's starting to snow and she doesn't have a car to get there. She's like, oh no, I can't get there. I'm freaking out, and because she really wants to go for this interview, she really wants this job and she really wants to be taken seriously for her role. She talks to Henry about it, saying that, I got this job interview but I can't go for it because it's all the way in Scotland and I don't have a car, I don't have access to get there. He's like, oh well, I'll take you. And I'll stay there and you can do the interview and then we'll come back in time for Christmas Eve so you can spend it with your family and do all the festivities with your family and everything like that. Obviously her mum and dad are unhappy about it because it's really close to Christmas and they don't know if she's going to be back by Christmas Eve because it's starting to snow, and they don't know if it's going to get really heavy and it's going to cause her not to be able to get back for Christmas Eve. But they say, okay, no, that's your dream, so go and follow your dream and go and smash this interview. So she gets up there with Henry. She takes part in all of the tasks that the interviewer has for her, but it gets to the final couple of people ready for this interview, and the guy who is running the interviews is a bit of a sleazeball, and so he tasks the group with telling him what each of their other people's weaknesses are. So he wants them to tear each other down, saying why they shouldn't get the job but you should, by telling him one of the other person's weaknesses. And B is like, no, that's morally wrong, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to bring other people down just for me to look good in an interview so I get this job. It's not worth it. I don't like to bring other people down. So she kind of walks out of the interview and she's like, right, come on Henry, let's go, that's not worth it. So her and Henry obviously leave, but it's starting to really pelt down with snow now and it's really hard for them to get back to her mum's house like they predicted for Christmas Eve. So her and Henry have to stay in a little cabin till the snow dies down, and while they're stuck there with each other, they obviously start talking and catch up, and they start to obviously develop feelings for each other, but they kind of both don't want to admit it because they don't want the parents to be right, and two, when they were younger, they used to B used to think that Henry was really geeky and that someone who she wouldn't want to be with. She was always into the bad boy types. And as the story goes on, they kind of start to come to terms with that they do actually start to have feelings for each other. There could be a possibility of a future there with each other. And then her ex-boyfriend Adam shows up, who she was childhood sweethearts with, but he left her because he wanted to pursue a career in music. He chose her over the music, and she's never forgave him for that. He always put the music first and always let her down. Whenever they wanted to do stuff together, he would always cancel because he had a gig or he was writing with his friends. But she has always had feelings still there for him. She still loved him and still does love him. So it's kind of B trying to decide between Henry and Adam, trying to figure out which one's the best path they're at to take. But yeah, you'll have to read the book to know who she picks. I really, really love this book. This is the one that I added because I saw it on Goodreads when I was adding my books in for the month. And I was like, oh, this sounds good because it's got really good ratings. So I was like, I'll add this one in as well. And I'm so glad I did because it was a really, really good read. Really, really good story. The characters are really, really wholesome. You just connect to the characters really well. Then all of the hurt coming from B's past of how Adam actually broke her heart and how terrible he was to her. And how much better Henry is, but just in that conflict of like, oh, do I try and ignite this old flame and try again because he says he's going to change, or do I go with the better and safe option and be with Henry? Yeah, but anyways, I gave this one 4 stars as what? No, wait a minute, what did I give this? I gave this one 5 stars, guys. So this was a really, really good read and I highly recommend it. That was the second book I read for the month of December. Okay guys, the third book I read for the month of December was Merrily Ever After by Kathy Bramley. And if you remember, I read the first book in this series last Christmas. And it followed Mary and Cole, who fell in love when he was helping Mary with renovations for her candle business and finding a place for her to set up that candle business. And they fell in love and then got with each other. So in this one, again, it follows Mary and Cole, and they are now engaged to be married. Mary is trying to find a replacement for her father-in-law because he is getting older and he is her main man in her candle business. He helps with all the stock and making the candles and things, but he's getting older and he wants to travel with his partner and see the world before he is no longer here anymore. Mary has to try and find a replacement for a father-in-law for the candle business, as well as do business orders in time for Christmas. She has to plan this wedding because they want a Christmas wedding, so she has to plan that as well leading up to Christmas. So she's kind of freaking out that she's not going to find a replacement in time. She's not going to get the wedding prep done on time for Christmas Eve. And that she isn't going to be accepted as a stepmom to Cole's children. But on the other side, we'll go to another POV of a woman called Emily, who is looking after her father with dementia. And his dementia is slowly worsening as time goes on. So she has to make the difficult decision to put her father in a care home because she's trying to juggle caring for him and holding down a job as a secretary in a primary school. But obviously she keeps getting calls saying that obviously he's acting up or he's gone on the wander, and she's starting to think it's actually not safe for him to be on his own because she can't be there 24/7 to make sure that he's okay and he's secure in his home. So she makes a tough decision to send him to a care home, and as she's moving him in and getting him settled, he starts asking for a tin that he used to keep in his wardrobe. She goes back to her dad's old house and looks in the wardrobe and finds the tin that he's after. So she's having a nosy through it and she finds photographs, and there's a photograph in the tin of Ray, her dad, with a baby. So she thinks the baby is her. So she packs up the tin, and then the next day she goes and visits her father and she goes, "Look, I found your tin. Everything's fine, you don't need to panic now." Then she gets the photo out and she goes, "Dad, who is this, me and you?" And obviously with him with dementia, says, "Yes, this is me and you. I remember you used to love to dance around the flat and things." And she's like, "We didn't have a flat." So she thinks he's getting like memories mixed up. She takes the photo to her mother and asks her mum the same question, "Is this me and Dad?" And her mum goes, no, that's not you and Dad. I don't know who that baby is, but that's not you. So of course Emily tries to investigate who this baby in this picture of her father is. And obviously she tries and gets Ray to jog his memory to see if he can remember who this child actually is. And he tells her that it's Mary, Sam's daughter, mine and Sam's daughter. So he's had a child with another woman, which is obviously Mary. Mary is the child in that photo, and her and Emily are stepsisters. But in the story, Mary and Emily actually cross paths, because as we know in the previous book, Mary's best friend Nell runs a nut store in the marketplace. So Mary often goes there and helps her out in the nut store, and one day she's there helping her out while Emily and her mum are out Christmas shopping, and they stop at Nell's nuts stall to buy some nuts for her father. And obviously they all introduce themselves to each other. They go their separate ways thinking nothing of it. And obviously as Emily starts to investigate more into who the baby in the picture is, who Mary is, who Sam was, she remembers that she met someone called Mary, and then that must be the baby in the picture. So she writes Mary a letter telling her that she thinks she's the baby in this photograph with her father, and that they might be stepsisters if she wants to have a relationship and get to know each other and do all that family stuff. So Mary agrees to meet up with Emily and form a bond and relationship with her, and then she starts to form a relationship with her father in the care home, and it's very sweet. And he ends up coming to her and Cole's wedding, and Emily as well ends up coming to the wedding as well to celebrate her sister's special day. So yeah, it was really sweet. It was a really nice carry on from the first book in the series, and I really enjoyed this one as well. Such a wholesome story, and it's so nice that she finally found some family, blood family, that she could reconnect with and have that bond with again. But obviously having that blood family, knowing that there was that blood family there and that you can have that relationship with them, I think it was just really nice to see that progress throughout the story, and Emily and her trying to piece everything together. Yeah, it was just really sweet. Loved all the characters, loved the addition of Emily and Ray. They were just some sweet characters as well. Highly enjoyed this read. Very nice story, very wholesome and very heartwarming. I gave this book 5 stars and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that is the 3rd book I read for the month of December. Okay guys, the 4th book I read for December was One More Christmas at the Castle by Trisha Ashley. And this is about an elderly widow called Sabine who has an illness that is eventually going to end her life. So she lives at a castle called Mitra's Castle, and she's determined to have one last Christmas with her remaining family. She wants all the traditions of her childhood that she can remember at Christmas, and she just wants to make it a great Christmas for her to remember and carry with her for the rest of her days left here. But obviously with her having this illness, she's going to be very weak and she's not going to be able to do all the decorating and cooking of the food herself, but she does want her family to come to Mitra's Castle so she can determine what is going to happen with the castle and who she is going to pass the reins on to when she passes away. So she hires Heavenly House Parties, which is run by Dido Jones and Henry, and they are meant to come in and decorate the house, cook food, clean, and do everything that like a housemaid would basically do, like a butler would do. So they agree with a price with Sabine and they work out a schedule, what's going to have to happen leading up to Christmas, and they would finish their contract on New Year's Day. So they pack up all their stuff that they're going to need while they're staying at the castle is living like hell. They set off and they get themselves settled in and get to know the owner and what the owner wants from them and how they want their Christmas to go. And then slowly the guests of Sabine arrive, like her family, they slowly start arriving on the lead up to Christmas. One of them people is Zahn, who is Sabine's godson, and he's going to be spending Christmas there with Sabine and her family because he is writing a novel about Sabine and her husband, job that they were doing because they used to go in search of lost cities under the water and things. He wants to honour her husband's memory by writing that story about how they met, all their work that they'd done and all their findings and things. So he goes early to try and look through her husband's papers and things that he left, all of his journals and things in his study. But when he gets there, Dido notices Zahn from childhood, and she actually had a crush on Zahn as a child, teenagers, but obviously he didn't know, and she kind of hopes that he doesn't recognise her. But of course he does, and as time goes on and they spend more time together, they start to kind of fall for each other. But Sabine is holding a secret from everyone. Dido is actually linked to Sabine in the castle in some way that no one else knows apart from Sabine herself. So she is holding a grudge because the person that links Dido to Sabine in the castle, she didn't have a very good relationship with. So she's holding that grudge against Dido because she's just bitter about it. But I won't go into any more detail of how Dido is connected to Sabine and the castle. You'll have to read the book to find that out for yourself and see if the blossoming romance between Zahn and Dido goes anywhere. Yeah guys, really enjoyed this story. It was nice to see like all the Christmas traditions that Sabine liked and that she remembered from childhood, and how Dido and Henry made it all possible, and how it was so lovely learning about her past and her and her husband's work and things like that, and Zahn and Dido's past when they knew each other when they were teenagers and now falling in love in the present time. It's just really nice. All the characters were amazing. Henry was probably my favourite character. He's just like a bubbly homosexual who is amazing. It's just so iconic. Love that guy, so funny. But yeah guys, I really enjoyed this one, highly recommend it, really good story, amazing. Gave this one 4 stars, and that was the 4th book I read for the month of December. Okay guys, the 5th book I read for the month of December was Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. And this is about Becky, loves like the festive season, and she always goes to her parents who host Christmas and make it a big extravaganza and make it amazing. They always have like schedule to know what they're going to do on the days. They invite the neighbours around for sherry and festivities, and it's just always really good. But this year for Christmas, her mum and dad are actually moving, so they ask Becky if she will host Christmas this year. She's like, yeah, okay, how hard could it be? But obviously a lot of things weigh her down because obviously her sister's vegan, so she has to find a vegan turkey. She wants to find the perfect gift for her husband because she doesn't want to get him something boring like aftershave or a jumper or whatever. She wants to find the perfect gift that no one would ever think that to get anyone. Her little girl's asking for a picnic hamper. She tries to order the vegan turkey and all the other food that she's going to need for Christmas. She tries to order decorations. She orders her daughter's picnic hamper straight away. So that's the thing she knows that her daughter wants. That's the first present she knows anybody wants. So she's like, right, I'll get that in straight away so I know it's there. But things slowly start to go wrong. The decorations don't want to stay up. Some of the decorations that she orders aren't in stock anymore, so they don't arrive, and she stresses out. Days before Christmas, the vegan turkey gets cancelled, so she's like, oh my god, I need a vegan turkey, what am I going to do? So she kind of tries and makes a vegan turkey herself with a friend out of donuts. And then as she's at work, her ex-flame comes into the mix and asks her out for a drink. He tells her to bring her husband as well because her husband's in advertisement. And when they get to the pub where they're going to meet with each other, he brings his fiancée as well. They have a different motive of why they ask Becky to drink. They don't really want Becky. They are using Becky to get to her husband because this guy's fiancée wants to work in advertising and she wants to work for Luke's company. And she gives Luke the presentation. And he says he'll think about it, and then obviously once him and Becky leave, she's like, what did you think of it? And he's like, it was atrocious. She's not going to get anywhere. She's ambitious, but it doesn't go anywhere. I don't think it's going to change anything, so I have to let her down lightly. So of course she doesn't take that very well, and so she tries to sabotage Becky's Christmas get-together by pretending to be Luke and sending an email to all the people who are attending Becky's Christmas saying that it's cancelled because Becky's having a mental breakdown. So they all message Becky saying, oh well, this has come up, we're just gonna do this for Christmas, you and Luke and Minnie enjoy Christmas yourselves and things. So they all start cancelling one by one, and she starts freaking out and thinking that they don't think she can pull this off. So Luke gets annoyed and obviously drags her to our sister's house and confronts our sister, like, why is everyone cancelling, what's going on? And our sister's like, Luke, you sent everyone an email saying that Christmas is cancelled at your house and to let Becky down lightly because she was having a mental breakdown, so we all let her down lightly and cancelled the plan. And Luke was like, I didn't send anyone anything. So then they all put two and two together and realised it was actually Nadine, this old flame's fiance, who had tried to sabotage Becky's Christmas and Luke's Christmas because she was bitter about not being accepted in Luke's company. But anyways, they put all of the problems aside and Becky smashes Christmas and everyone has a fantastic time, and she's like, see, I told you I could pull it off, I done it. And everyone is very happy for her and says it's the best Christmas they've had in a very long time. It was very, very good. I enjoyed this story. It was cool to see how Becky overcome all these problems, because all of it was very stressful. Like, it would have made me have a mental breakdown of all the crap she went through to try and make Christmas really good. But yeah, really enjoyed this one, guys. It was really fun, really good characters, really well written, very good, and I gave this one 4 stars, guys. So that is the 5th book I read for the month of December. Okay guys, the 6th book I read for the month of December was Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogel. And this is about Betty, who used to live in a life of luxury, had all designer shoes, expensive cars, expensive bags, but she got in with some bad management who made her invest in some not very good products, so her money kind of went like that, and she ended up homeless and broke. And she comes from quite a wealthy family, a well-known family who are in the acting business and things. They're all famous for their own things, music, acting, things like that. So she doesn't want to ask her family for help. So she kind of just stays out of the way, stays out of the limelight, and lives in this woman, she squats in this woman's house who has passed away, who she used to look after on her ending days. But her family didn't claim the house or claim that they were family to this woman. So she kind of just stayed there. And she's just made that house her home. And normally she spends Christmas with her family, but this year she's kind of dreading it because she's like, I can't afford expensive gifts to give them for Christmas. Because they're kind of a competitive family, so they try to outdo each other on expensive gifts that they give each other. So she's like, crap, I can't give them anything and they're gonna know that something's wrong and that I'm broke as shit. She tries and like drowns her sorrows away by having a nice drink of wine, and she plays All I Want for Christmas Is You on a vinyl player, but obviously with her being drunk she can't really operate it properly, and she ends up playing the track backwards, which makes all the lights in the house start flickering and freaking out, and the vinyl record freaks out, and then it conjures a guy into our home, and he's called Hal, and he calls himself the Christmas Spirit. And what Hal is here for is to make Betty become a better person and find the festive spirit again. Obviously she's now because she's broke and she doesn't feel like celebrating Christmas, because what's the point when you're broke and you can't give your family expensive gifts, apparently. Hal does all this stuff to try and get her festivities up, but when he first appears she kind of takes him for granted, and the magic that he can do, she takes it for granted. She uses it for revenge and to get expensive things that she wants. And Hal's like, this isn't what I'm here for. I'm here to make you a better person and make you want to celebrate Christmas and find the true meaning of Christmas, not thinking that Christmas is about materialistic things and that it's about family and spending time with your family. And obviously she's like, this Hal's quite good looking, so she's gonna pretend that they're together and that he's her fiance to show off to her family. So they go and spend Christmas with the family. Obviously Hal tags along with them. As the magic, like the wiles of magic start to wear off for Betty, she kind of lets Hal get on with it to try and make her become a better person. And he does loads of like sweet gestures. He tries to he bakes like cookies with her mum. He decorates the house all Christmassy. He makes her like Christmas jumpers, like cute Christmas jumpers appear. Makes an ice ring spring out of nowhere and the family go ice skating together. And he just tries and makes it like a really festive Christmas for all the family to kind of come together and forget about materialistic things. As the story goes on and Hal's trying to make Betty a better person and have that festive spirit, she actually starts to fall for Hal. But the happier that Betty gets, the less time Hal has on Earth, because he's fulfilling his job of making Betty festive and happy. Once that's done, his job is done and he no longer is here. He'll go forever. So as that comes closer and closer, her and Hal start to get feelings for each other. She tries to figure out ways to keep him here, but obviously she's unsuccessful, and eventually he does have to go away because Betty has reached the full potential of the happiness scale. And obviously she's devastated, the family's devastated because he was a really nice guy. They thought he was really good for her. Betty is trying to find ways to bring him back and make it permanent for him to stay on Earth, for them to be together and tick off all the things that Hal wanted to do if he would be able to stay on Earth permanently. So yeah, very, very wholesome read. Very heartwarming. It was so sweet. Hal is such a sweet character. Oh my god, he's so sweet. He's just like the perfect dude for a woman, bruh. So, you know, ladies, if you need to look for a Hal, man. You need to look for a Hal. He's a good dude. Yeah, it was really sweet, really wholesome. It was nice to see Betty like change her ways to become a better person and all the things that she'd done to do that. And just how happy Hal started to make her and how they fell in love with each other and them feelings have started to blossom. It was really sweet to see. Very, very well written. I really enjoyed this story. Really, really nice. And I gave this one 4 stars. So that is the 6th book I read in the month of December. Okay guys, the 7th and final book that I read in December was Christmas at the Cat Cafe by Jessica Redland. And this is about Tabby, whose dream has always been to work with cats in some way. So when her nana passes away, she leaves her inheritance. So Tabby decides to open a cat cafe with her then partner Leon. They go and look at the location, they pick it out. She's like, are you sure you want to do this with me? Because if you're not in it, I can't do this by myself. So I need to know that you're 100% in this. And he's like, yeah, I'm definitely in it. I'm going to help you with this. I'm going to be the supervisor. And you're going to be like the manager. And we're going to work together and we're going to have this fantastic cat cafe. While the renovations and things are going on in the cafe to get it ready for opening day, Leon decides that he wants to go and work on a cruise ship as a chef for 3 months. He's like, I need to get this out of my system. Because if I don't do this, then I'll always wonder what would have been if I did take it. So he's like, I think I need to take this job just to get it out of my system, sort of thing. It's a 3-month gig, I'll be back in 3 months, and then we can focus on the cat cafe and opening the cat cafe and giving you your dream. So she's like, okay, fine. I'm not happy about it, but that's fine, we'll do that. He goes off for the 3 months, and then as he's about to come back, he rings her and goes, I've got an extension for another 2 months because there's this celebrity chef here that I idolise and it's a really good opportunity for me to work with him. So can I stay on for these extra 2 months? And I promise I'll be back in time to open the cat cafe. And she was like, right, okay, fine. I'm not happy about it again, but okay, do it. Follow that dream and get it out of your system. So she's counting down the days until he comes back, and then obviously on the day he's meant to come back, the day before he's meant to come back, she rings him and's like, when do you get home and what time do you get in so I can come and pick you up? And he's like, I'm not coming home, I'm sorry. I like it here. I've had a lot of time to think and this is what I want to do. I don't want to open the cafe. I don't want to run a cafe with you anymore, and I don't want to be in a relationship anymore because long distance doesn't work. So I'm staying on the ship, and we're breaking up basically. Obviously is a massive shock to Tabby because it's come out of nowhere, and he promised that he was going to open this cafe with her because she physically cannot cope on her own to run it, because she has fibromyalgia, which obviously is a chronic pain condition which causes flare-ups of pain, which makes it difficult to do everyday things anymore. So the only reason she was able to open this cafe was if Leon was there to open it with her, because he could take over on the day she had flare-up and it would still be running. But now that he's dipped out, she's having second thoughts, and she's like, shit, I've bought it. I've bought this cat cafe. It's been renovated. It's ready to open. And you just hit me with a snowball. So she has to try and find a replacement for him, as well as staff. And she has to obviously move out of his house because she's living with him. So she moves into the flat above the cafe with all of her cats and tries and gets them accustomed to living in the cafe and in the new flat, in order to be able to get the cafe ready and hire staff and get the cats transferred over to the new flat and all her furniture transferred to the new flat. She needs to tell her family how bad her fibromyalgia is, because she hasn't told them. She's told them it's mild. She eventually tells her family, and all her family start to chip in to help her get things ready for the cafe's opening. And her childhood friend Tom stays with her to help around the house when she has a bad flare-ups. When she's posting like updates about the cafe opening getting closer and closer. So there's people who are against cafes commenting on our posts being like, it's unethical, don't open this cat cafe. If you believe this is a good thing, you are horrible people, blah blah blah. So it starts to kind of like put a dampener on our mood and about giving that doubt of opening the cat cafe. The day before she's meant to open the cat cafe, someone actually vandalizes the window of the cat cafe by smashing it and throwing red paint all over the cafe. This obviously puts a stop to opening day, and she has a massive flare up of her fibromyalgia. So everyone from the community of Castle Street come together along with her parents and her friends to clean the store for her, to clean the cafe for her and get the window replaced and get everything replaced that got damaged. And she's really thankful for it. So she plans to open the cafe a week later on a Saturday. But obviously with everything that's happening and all the things going wrong, she's kind of questioning herself, is this actually a good idea? Do I actually want to open this cat cafe anymore? Do I still pursue my dream? And all of her family and friends persuade her to go ahead with it, saying that she'll regret it if she didn't try it out. And if she feels like in a few months to a year that it's not working out, then she can say she's tried. So she's like, okay, I'll open it. So she opens it, and things are starting to go really well for the cat cafe. And obviously the guy, Tom, who was staying with her childhood best friend, she starts to develop feelings for him as he starts to develop feelings for her. So romances blossom in there. You'll have to read the book to find out if something blossoms between them, and if all goes well with the cat cafe in the end, and if it actually stays successful or she gives it all up in the end. But yeah, love this one so much. This was my favourite read of them all. Obviously, you know, I'm a big cat lover, you know, so I obviously love this one a lot. Really, really enjoyed it. The characters were just so good, apart from Leon. He can do one. Loved all the other characters. Tom is so sweet, Tabby's so sweet, all the cats are so sweet. You get to learn about all the different cats and the breeds and the names and the personalities, and it's just like, oh, it's so cute. And then obviously you get to see all of the pain of her trying to cope with fibromyalgia and coming to the terms that her life is changing, and to try and embrace the positivity out about it and not always look at the negative side of fibromyalgia that's affecting her. And this is the second book that I've read which includes someone with fibromyalgia, and it does really give you a massive insight into how people cope with it and how much it affects a person But yeah, really enjoyed this wholesome story, very heartwarming, and yeah, gave this one 5 stars. No surprises there, was there? So yeah. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the books I read for December. I read 7, and I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts and opinions on them and my ratings for them. But yeah, I'm going to end this one here because I've been going on for a while. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. It's not catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys. Tonight, wherever in the world you are.